What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to our brand new studio here on Anfield Agenda. We are, of course, coming live with the late night agenda. I've missed you all over the last couple of days, but I hope you've enjoyed the Euros coverage wherever you've been watching from, and of course the Copa America as well. We've seen that Darwin has knocked Alisson out of the Copa America, so Uruguay are into the semis. Lucho, of course, in there as well with Colombia. But we want to know your thoughts on the brand new Anfield Agenda studio, which we will be using for the season ahead. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. JC, my man, thank you for gifting 10 Anfield Agenda memberships. Really appreciate you. And yeah, I'm glad you guys like the studio. It's pretty cool, right? It's good work from Ben on this one. We'll certainly give a tip of the hat to Ben for his work on this one. But we promise you some upgrades this season, and we were not lying. We have so much cool new stuff that we're going to be able to get to over the next season. Of course, giving you guys the most interactive and up-to-date Liverpool content that we can hope to do. Mike, love the studio. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's looking smart, isn't it? It's looking good. Ready to go. This is why we brought Ben in, to do what he does, which is make the studio look sexy. And yes, full credit to Ben on this one. I think it's his best studio build yet. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, I've been waiting. We've been working away on... I say we, like I've done anything. We've been working away on this one for a while. I'm continuing with the we there, in case you didn't notice. And I have to say, I'm over the moon with it. Connor is as well. It's tremendous. Hope the silver brings silverware, said Morganski. I hope it does as well. I hope it does, mate. It's yeah, look, we've got loads of new innovations that we're going to be coming with this season. We're going to be able to do stuff that no other channel can do, quite simply, with regards to the tech that we're going to have in store for you. But we do have a lot to go through tonight, my friends. We're going to be speaking about the Anthony Gordon situation. We're going to be bidding farewell to a couple of Liverpool players as well. Well, one we already knew was departing, but he announced his retirement. And another one, well, he's gone off to Real Betis. So we'll go through all of this and so much more over the course of the next 90 minutes. Good work to Ben on the studio, said Scousman91. Thank you. Am I confident on a signing? I am. I just don't know when. And of course, we will be talking about that tonight as well, my friends. Look, I'm not a patient person at the best of times, but I'm starting to get a bit sketchy in this transfer window. I would like just one to settle the nerves, as they say. The new background is sick, mate. Love it. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate your support. You'd be amazed the amount of work that goes into a studio build like that. It took Ben a while, but it is perfect. And much love to Ben for the work that he's done. Can't see Gordon going to City, said Alex Macklin. Nor can I, Alex. He would probably have limited game time at Manchester City, and if Liverpool are in for him, well, we do know he's a Liverpool fan, and we'll talk about that tonight as well. We're going to be discussing who he was speaking to from the Liverpool camp about his interest in moving, and of course lots of other bits and pieces as well. Is Williams a realistic option, said Joseph Purvis. Thank you, Joseph. I think so, but I can't lie to you, Joseph. I think if he had the option, Barcelona would probably be his number one club to go to. But do they have the money? That's the real question here. Liverpool certainly have the money that we could get Nico Williams signed up. Now, there's been a couple of reports in Spain to suggest we're just about to do that. We don't have any confirmation of that from the English side or the English media side, but let's wait and see what happens. On top of all of this, I wanted to say a couple of quick farewells to a few Liverpool players. Thiago Alcantara has announced that he is retiring from football. It's probably the right decision. He's been through a lot over the last couple of years with his body, trying to get it right. Only managed to play 6 minutes of football in his last campaign at Liverpool. But I just want to say, look, it's been a pleasure having Thiago Alcantara at the football club. You know, would have liked his last campaign to be a little bit better, but it is what it is. And I just hope he has a great rest of his life with his family and his children and everything else. So thank you, Thiago, for your service. And Adrian San Miguel as well. He has announced today that he is departing, going back to his boyhood club, Real Betis, to finish his career. Left a lovely message on social media to the Liverpool fans as well. So thank you to Adrian for his service to the club as well. And we do have to start looking towards the future. And with that in mind, it does seem like Miroslav Jaros will be getting promoted up to the ranks this season. Whether that's to number 2 or number 3, I guess will depend on what happens with Quivin. But a post came out earlier on just to confirm that Liverpool are indeed looking at promoting Miroslav Jaros up in the goalkeeping department. Interesting thing though about Adrian, moving on, is that does free up another non-homegrown spot for Liverpool in the transfer market. Anfield sector, quick to point that one out earlier on, and fair play to them. So yes, there you go. We do have another space now that we could fill with an overseas talent, if indeed that's what the club wants to do. Thiago to be one of the two coaching announcements. Unsure, but we know Thiago Alcantara has a lot to give to the game, so if he sticks around as a coach, I don't think anybody'd have any issues with that. But look, whatever happens with Thiago, as we said, I do want to wish him the best with the rest of his life, because I very much enjoyed watching him at Liverpool when the time we had him on the pitch anyway. Do you think Salah will get a send-off like Klopp, said Tuck? It's a really, really good question. And I guess it'll come down to how Mohamed Salah's time with the club ends. If it ends this summer, the likelihood is probably not, But if it goes on, he ends at the end of the season, or in 2 or 3 years, maybe. Now, I do want to talk about the Mohamed Salah situation tonight because, well, the Echo have got me thinking. The Echo did a piece where they said, what could test Liverpool's Mohamed Salah resolve this summer? They talked about, of course, the £150 million that Liverpool rejected last year from Saudi Arabia. But what would it take for Liverpool to cash in this summer? Well, I would say, first and foremost, it would take a willingness from Mohamed Salah to move on. That's like any player who the club may lose. That would be the first part of it. And on top of that, honestly, I think we're talking reasonable numbers for Liverpool to consider it. 70, 80 million quid, maybe, something like that. I know a lot of you will probably think higher because Saudi are involved, but it just gets me thinking, are we really believing that the club are willing to let him walk for free in a year if he doesn't sign the new deal? Because I don't buy it. I don't buy for 1 second that Liverpool are that stupid financially, but we'll talk about that tonight as well. Adam Brown, thank you so much for your super chat, mate. Adam said, want to throw a name at you that's impressed me at the Euros. Francisco Conceição, he's a right winger from Portugal, plays for Porto. He's 21, really lively and good at taking players on. I'm sure that we would know about him, Adam. I'm sure the club will have looked at him. And there is no shortage of attacking wide players that are on the market this summer. Nico Williams we've spoken about, potentially Anthony Gordon, obviously Conceição, the young man you're on about. Chiesa, we know from Juventus, is going to be available for about £20 million, give or take, which is an absolute bargain, if you can get past, of course, his injury concerns and record. Mark, welcome back to Anfield Agenda FC, to our chief moderator as well. And just one more thing, ladies and gentlemen, before we really get stuck into the who did what and why, just want to give you a reminder, 4 weeks from tonight, just 4 short weeks, we are going to be in the city of Liverpool for our first live show in the city. You can get your tickets with the link at the top of the chat. You can also get your lickets with it. Lickets? You can get your lickets if you want. Lick it right there. Many people have, weirdly, actually, at the live shows, come up and kiss me on the head, but that's okay. So you can get your tickets for the Cardiff and Liverpool shows with the link at the top of the chat and in the description. And also want to say a massive thank you to our sponsors, Manscaped. Only feels fitting and right that for our first stream in the new studio, we should have our friends at Manscaped with us. Don't forget, you can get yourself anything store-wide at manscaped.com by using the Anfield Agenda 20% discount code, Anfield20, to get that 20% off and free shipping store-wide at manscaped.com. Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, check. Lawnmower 5.0, check. Beard Hedger Pro Kit, check. All 20% off and free shipping with our code Anfield20. Right. Is Salah one of the GOATs of the club in your opinion? Absolutely, Joseph. Look, I know people get wound up sometimes by how adamant I am about Mohamed Salah should be sold. But make no mistake about it, he is absolutely a GOAT, an icon, a legend, and deserves every bit of it. But that, my stance is that's what he's done in the past. Football is a what can you do for me now business. So I would say without any hesitation, absolutely. Liverpool is a football club with a great history, with some great servants over the years who've delivered a lot. And Mohamed Salah deserves to have his name mentioned amongst many of those greats. So, without a doubt, mate. I love the new setup, Craig. Well done, everyone, said Michael Manning. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate your support, my friend. Moving graphics, that's smart. We're not here to take part, as Mr. McGregor once said. We're here to become the go-to for all Liverpool fans around the world to come and chat with us, discuss the club, and that includes upgrading the graphics and keeping everything ticking along. What have we got? Barry, thank you very much, mate, for your super sticker. Appreciate you. Barry Seddon, thank you so much, mate. Right, look, Do we want to talk Anthony Gordon? Let's talk Anthony Gordon for a little bit. There was a piece today that caught my eye, and I'm sure it did you guys as well. Two things. Firstly, Manchester City are apparently entering into the race to sign Anthony Gordon. I don't think we should have too many concerns about that, because if we really want him, it seems like he'd love to come to Liverpool. Now, he's also been speaking with Trent and other members of the England team about what life is like at Anfield, about the potential of a move. And this one doesn't feel like, from the coverage it's getting in the media, that it's going away anytime soon. I know that Newcastle have gotten past their profit and sustainability rule hiccup, shall we say. But remember, let's go back until maybe 3-4 months ago. Somebody senior at Newcastle did admit that regardless of anything else, if the club want to go in and reinvest in the market and bring in some top talent, they may need to sell one of their stars. Questions were, was that Bruno Guimaraes, Anthony Gordon, Alexander Isak? It looks most likely that it would be Anthony Gordon. Now, you're probably going to say, Craig, hang on a minute, I think Newcastle are about to offer Anthony Gordon a new deal. Maybe they are. But again, his head has been turned. And he had the idea, he had a little whiff of coming to Liverpool, and I don't think he's going to let it drop. So let's wait and see what happens. I definitely feel like there's a story to be had here. But we have to talk about the story from both sides. If we're bringing in a Gordon, that surely means somebody's about to depart from the forward line. And that's what's never added up to me throughout this window. Most journalists, whatever publication you read, The Echo, The Athletic, This is Anfield's, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Most of them will have written an article at some point to say that Liverpool are likely to bring in a forward. Now that is kind of at odds with the rest of the transfer window, where we're unsure about centre-back and midfield. But it never sat well with me wondering, why would we be bringing in a forward if we haven't sold one? So I still believe we're going to lose a forward in this window, and that's why we're looking to the future and looking to bring in a younger, more versatile forward perhaps. Peter, 27, thank you mate for your very kind comment. Said, been watching since 27k subs. What a journey, you'll never walk alone. Thank you, Peter. It's been a mad journey. It's been 6 years now, and still growing, still going forward, and still grateful for it every day. If Salah extends, I think he'll retire at Liverpool, said Harry Klein. I don't know if he'll retire, Harry, but I feel like it'll certainly, if he does extend, will be his last top-level club in European football. You know, maybe he goes to the MLS, maybe he goes to Saudi, maybe he goes somewhere else to finish his career, you know, because footballers like to retire to the sun, like most of us. So maybe he does do something like that. But yes, I would say if he extended his contract, mate, I'd be there with you. I think probably his last big club. Right, there was a comment here I wanted to get to. Sorry, scroll up. Craig, are we not looking for a CDM or a centre-back right now? I believe these are the positions we need to prioritise, said Goat of Gaming. I don't think you're too far wrong, my friend. I think most of us would agree with you. Centre-back, for me, would be number one. Central midfielder or central defensive midfielder would be number two. So, yeah, your guess is as good as mine. We thought it might be Calafiori. He looks like he's off to Arsenal. That looks like it's getting closer and closer. The stuff about Mats Wiefer we have to talk about as well, because Arne Slot himself has rubbished that Liverpool running around last minute frantically trying to sign him nonsense, which always felt like nonsense to me, to be honest. But I agree with you, mate. I think most people in the chat would agree with you that a central defensive midfielder and a centre-back are definitely the priorities. What confuses me somewhat in the centre-back search is, what exactly are we looking for? Because in one article I'll read that we're looking for a left-sided centre-back with a left foot. And then in another article I'll read and it'll say Liverpool want a partner for Virgil van Dijk, which would be the right-sided centre-half. So a little bit confused by that. But we do need one, and make no mistake about it. Regardless of Thiago, Matip moving on, we always needed to bring in a centre-back. Now, that's only increased in my opinion. The big problem is, though, will John pony up the dough? And you know me, I'm sick of the excuse making around the FSG supporters. I give them credit for a lot of stuff, but they need to spend money. And the more this window drags out, the more nervous I'm starting to get. Because it's a very difficult argument to put forward to criticise the club for wanting to stick with youth and coach players to improvement. On the face of it, that's what we're supposed to love, right? That's what we're supposed to want. And we do. But we've got to be realistic at the same point and know that we also need to try and win stuff right now. And we don't have 2 or 3 years to write off while the club develops these players. So nothing wrong with doing that in the longer term. But we need some players right now. You know that, I know that. I think deep down, even the people who, I don't want to call them FSG apologists anymore because that seems unfair, but the people who defend FSG blindly, they surely need to admit that as well. I look back at Jurgen Klopp's 9 years at the club with great fondness, same as everybody else. But I always had this feeling that we were going to end up seeing Jurgen leave and some trophies left on the table. And I really feel that was the case because of a lack of investment in the playing squad. John Deere said, love the green screen. Thank you. Look, we are team green screen. You're never going to see us moving away from it. Even if I move into an actual real studio in the future, it's still going to be a green screen studio because I love the freedom it gives us. So, yes, we're team green screen absolutely here at Anfield Agenda. Craig, we should sign Frimpong and play Trent in the number 8 with McAllister at 6. Please mention. Well, there was an article yesterday linking us with Jeremy Frimpong. We know how much it will cost. He's got a €40 million buyout clause in his contract. What we don't know is, are we the only team in for him? What his wages might be. And I think most people would agree with you. If Trent's being moved into the centre, there's an argument for a Frimpong. There's an argument as to who is going to play on the right side. Salah obviously will be top of most of our thoughts. Dominic Szoboszlai could be an option, of course, as well on the right-hand side. But nothing wrong with having a Frimpong, especially at that money. Now, I don't know how truthful the links are. I'm sure the club know all about him. They've seen what he's done with Leverkusen. He's the right age profile as well. Really reasonable release clause. So let me know your thoughts on it. Would you like the club to go after Jeremy Frimpong for €40 million? Maybe Connor could get that up as a poll. Where was this one? There was a comment there. Darwizzy, how are you, sir? Said, Craig, if my memory is right, Richard Hughes said that we might buy players in August. You're sort of right. What I remember Richard Hughes saying is he expects July to be a little bit quiet as, you know, players and clubs look at what's happening at the international competitions. And then he expects transfer business in general to reach a crescendo in August. That's kind of how I remember him saying it. But actually, while we're speaking about that, I wanted to get your thoughts on something. I jotted this down the other day because I knew I wanted to ask you about it. Remember when Arne Slot had his press conference on Friday and you seen Richard Hughes there with him? Do you think that this is something that we should see more of in England? Because Antonio Conte was always rather vocal about the fact that he believed managers were somewhat thrown under the bus in England at times and put out in front of the media on their own. I actually really enjoyed listening to Richard Hughes up there with Arne Slot. So I wonder if this is something we're going to see a little bit more from the club in the future, because obviously he's the director of football. He's the direct boss of Arne Slot. So I'd love to know what you guys think. Frimpong suits more of a wing-back role. He wouldn't be an improvement in my opinion. He could be a wing-back or winger. You know, I could absolutely see a world where he's utilised on the right side of a midfield 3 or on the right side of an attack. But I'm not going to start talking about systems. I'm afraid to. I've seen what happened to Chris. And honestly, if Chris is watching this, I probably would have asked a similar question. I felt really bad for Chris Pajak when he kind of got the harsh end of the answer from Arne Slot, because I think it's a very fair question, and I think most of us who've watched Arne Slot's teams would assume a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. So I did feel a little bit for Chris on that one, to be fair. Chris is a nice fella, and yeah, I felt he was a bit unlucky there. Frimpong right wing and he's homegrown, said Russell. There we go. There you go. That's another great option there. I didn't know about the homegrown. Actually, did he come through Manchester City's academy, Russell? But yeah, I forgot about the homegrown aspect of it. There you go. And we did get confirmation today as well that Michael Elise has joined Bayern Munich. That deal was completed a little while ago. We will get Ederson in the last week of the window and that'll be it, said Tola MVZ. Look, I'm going to be honest with you, mate. I can't speak for everybody else, but if that was our transfer window, I would lose my mind. And I would be very vocal about it. Not that that's going to make any difference, but that isn't good enough. And I'm sure most of us would agree with that. For me, it needs to be a minimum of a centre-back and a midfielder. A minimum. And then maybe you look at what happens with other areas of the pitch. If we lose a forward, maybe you bring in another forward. If we lost Kelleher, maybe you bring in another goalkeeper. But yeah, it's concerning. Stevie Boy, thank you for your super chat, my friend. Very kind of you indeed. And thank you to everyone that sent in super chats and so far tonight. Really appreciate your support. Liverpool have been linked with a lot of players. What is the transfer budget for the summer? And do you expect the same 11 to start the season? So I'm going to start with the latter part of your question, Stevie Boy, if that's okay. No, I don't expect the same 11 to start the season because of the Euros and the Copa America. You know, our players are going deep in those tournaments, and I don't know if they'll be ready to go by the time the season gets underway. Alisson, okay, he's knocked out now, so he should be back in time. And with regards to the transfer budget, the answer from the club has always been that Liverpool don't really go in with a budget in mind. It's more a case of, you know, the factors of the signing being right. So is it a player that Liverpool think there's value in? Can they improve? Are they the right age profile? Will they improve on what we have at the squad or what we have in the squad already? These are the questions you get told all the time. And I've always been okay with that because I don't like any club announcing how much money the manager might have. That's a dangerous game. But I also don't like giving anyone the benefit of the doubt. You know, actions speak louder than words. And right now, I would guess to say that most of you are getting a little bit antsy. Even if you're somebody who feels that the transfer business will be sorted. You can't tell me you're not getting a little bit nervy right now, looking around at what other clubs are doing. Because I am. And although I do believe it's understandable that we're a little bit behind because Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards, Arne Slot, all these people only coming into their new roles, that's okay. But we cannot accept a lack of investment in the squad. We just can't. If it doesn't happen, we need to be vocal. Because every window, there's the same crap. Patience, be patient, stuff will happen, be patient. And a lot of the time, nothing happens and we end up frustrated. And then it goes into, well, there's nothing can be done about it now. Let's just see how the season goes. And then we end up having injuries and we're short in areas. And then we end up falling away a little bit. It's frustrating. And we've seen it happen time and time again. If there's one thing I hope that the owners understand at this point is that football players get injured. And you need to plan for that. And you need to expect that they're going to. Nobody wants them to. You can try all the preventative measures you want. But look at last year. There was a serious increase in injuries right across the game. Whether that's down to the increased demands on the players, whether it's down to the VAR stop and start nature of things, it isn't great. And we need to figure that out. And we need to be able to be there in the last 2-3 weeks of the season, fresh and fighting. And that's my problem is we're always that much. We're always close, but not quite there with regards to the squad. Ashley Dooley, thank you Ashley for your super chat. Ashley said, sad to see Thiago retire, but it's the best in my opinion. If he could have stayed fit, what a player we would have had. I agree. It's very sad to see Thiago retiring the way he has. He played 6 minutes of football for us last year and he wouldn't have wanted to go out that way either. So yeah, it is incredibly sad, but I'm sure he'll feel the benefit of it physically. You know, it must have been very hard for him physically and mentally trying to get back fit. You know, what a player though. What a player we had. And I'll always look back fondly that we had Thiago Alcantara at the club. The new background looking good, said Bogrel. Thank you. Appreciate your support on that. Right, let's talk Nat Phillips for a moment. Because Nat Phillips, that price seems to be going lower and lower and lower. So we've had confirmation that Liverpool have rejected an offer from Trabzonspor for Nat Phillips. We've seen Fabrizio Romano and many other journalists talk about the fact that Liverpool are how do I phrase this? Liverpool are expecting Nat Phillips to move on. But now, €5 million seems to be the fee for Nat Phillips, which, to be fair, is a bargain. Liverpool are a little bit behind the 8 ball here because he's in the last year of his contract. But what's that? About £4.2 million for a defender as versatile, as accomplished as Nat Phillips. I think somebody's getting a bargain there, whether it's Trabzonspor or elsewhere. It's not a lot of money. Right, let's have a look at the poll and we'll check back in on it. So we said, would you sign Jeremy Frimpong for €40 million with the options of yes, put Trent in midfield, yes, to rival Trent at right back, or no, we don't need him. And so far, 51% of you guys are going with yes, put Trent in midfield and you'd have Frimpong on the right. Billy said, you're the best, Craig. Keep it up, bud. Thank you. Appreciate you, mate. Yes. Sorry, I'm distracted by something here in the background. What's this? Sorry, I just have to reply to something. Can you honestly see John W. Henry spending the dough? Said Harry. Look, I think if John had his way, no. But I also think that he understands that we're starting to see through some of this crap now. John W. Henry is cheap. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to back down from that. And if he had his way, I'm sure minimal money would be spent because the club is still gone up in value every year. So, yeah, for me, look, he needs to be called out more and more and more until he starts opening up the purse strings a little bit. Remember, we freed up a lot of money, and we've just freed up even more. So we've got about 18 million quid, 18.7 million quid in wages freed up. We don't know what's happening with Mohamed Salah's future. We don't know what's happening with Virgil's future. We don't know what's happening with Trent's future. We don't know what's happening with Miroslav Yaros' future. And what we cannot allow to happen is that those players being re-signed, being sold to us as some type of tremendous business from the football club. Because that, quite frankly, is horseshit of the highest order. And we deserve better than that. And I don't believe this nonsense about Liverpool being willing to let Mohamed Salah go for free in a year's time either. I don't believe it. Because nothing about Michael Edwards makes me think that that's the rational, sensible thing to do. The emotion removed from the situation, resolution that we all expected when Edwards came in. For me, what the Echo are starting to hint at by asking what type of numbers we may accept to tempt us into selling Salah is an indication that the club would sell Salah in a heartbeat if the offer came in. And here's the thing. This needs to be tested. So let's see what happens if, I don't know, Al Ittihad, Al Hilal, or one of the clubs in the Saudi Pro League come in with an offer anywhere above 75 million pound. Let's see what Liverpool do then. Because I don't for 1 minute believe they wouldn't accept that offer. What I guess, and it is a guess, is happening right now is that Liverpool don't want to be disrespectful to Mohamed, which is absolutely understandable. Same applies the other way. Mohamed doesn't want to be disrespectful to Liverpool. But somebody needs to grow a pair and look at the situation and go, someone's getting 100 million quid, it's Salah or Liverpool. And with all due respect, I'm a Liverpool Football Club fan and I want that money very much tucked away in the club's bank account to be spent on signings. Not on, sure, wasn't it great? Sure, we let him go. Sure, it's only 100 million. Sure, what do we need 100 million for? You know, because we're so fucking flush with cash us. Right, what major signing are we linked to? Well, I guess, weirdly, the most stringent links or the strongest links are to forwards, which baffles me considering we have Diaz, Gakpo, Salah, Jota, Darwin. But yet we're still being linked to more and more attacking wide players. And like, this is, remember what I said to you, sometimes we're treated like idiots. This is one of those situations where we're being told flat out that the club are flirting with forwards. And we're being told that the club have no intention of selling any of our forwards. But come on. You and I know that the club are absolutely planning for Diaz or Salah to go. One of them. Let's be adult about it. The club are looking at these forwards for a reason. And it's because they believe they're going to lose one. And whether that's the unpalatable option or the palatable option, I think it's the truth. What happens if Salah won't go to Saudi? Then we have the situation where you either have to try and extend him or you have to play hardball. And that's where it gets messy. And I don't want it to get messy. I don't want what happened with Jordan Henderson happening with Mohamed Salah. I don't want Mohamed Salah leaving the football club with a cloud over him. I want him to leave the football club with the credit he deserves for the magnificent service he's given us. But I want it to be right for Liverpool as well. So I've always said I wouldn't mind the idea of a compromise. Let's say he gets half the transfer fee, Liverpool get the other half of the transfer fee. But one of two things needs to happen. You either need to renew him or you need to sell him. You cannot allow him start the season without one of those two things happening. Because this belief that Liverpool are happy to allow him leave in a year if he won't agree an extension. Have you noticed the wording of that? The wording is very much kicking the ball back into Mohamed Salah's court. Liverpool are happy to see Mohamed Salah leave for free in 2025 if he won't sign an extension. The wording of that is no accident. The wording of that is very much pushing the ball back into his court. But we have to be hard here, and we have to realise that, okay, if the club genuinely feel that Mo deserves a new deal and Mo would sign it, I'm okay with that. It wouldn't be my own decision, but it's far more sensible than allowing the man to go for free. We can't have him go for free. Again, I've said this so many times. If he leaves for free, then Firmino, Mane and Salah would have recouped us a grand total of 30 million quid, which is absolutely pathetic for the quality of forwards that they are. So whoever's making the decisions at the club needs to be a bit more hard-assed on these things. Nico's wages are ridiculous, said Raid. They are very, very high, Raid. No problem with that, mate. But we can afford them. We can afford them because we've just signed off on, let me see, 360 to 370,000 pound a week has just been freed up by Adrian, Thiago and Joel Matip leaving the club. More than enough to pay Nico Williams' wages without the club having to dip back into the coffers. Now, the transfer fee, of course, you have to pay that. But again, you know, the money's there. So don't let that fool you. Whether you think Nico Williams deserves 300 grand a week or not, of course, that's a very different conversation. But from an accounting perspective for the club, it's not all that fussed. You know, like you look at the situation, whatever it is, it's going to be about 20, let's say he's on 300 grand a week, which is what? 20 grand, 15 million quid a year. On top of that, the 9 million quid amortised transfer fee for a 5-year contract. So that's 24 million quid a year Nico Williams will cost the football club. Now, if you listen to Rami Abbas Issa, Mohamed Salah is making £1 million quid a week, all in. So even on Mo's basic wage, you know, Mo earns more than Nico Williams. And he should. Of course he should. But my point here is, one of them's 21 years of age with the future in front of him. And the other has given us incredible service, but is on the decline. It's a no-brainer for me. Would you rather Messi or Ronaldo in this Liverpool team right now? Neither, in all honesty. Not now. I mean, both of them are absolutely unbelievable footballers, but not now. I don't want either of them in the team right now, because when Messi or Ronaldo are playing in the team, this is going to sound a bit mad, but you're almost carrying a passenger, because they can't do what they once did. Messi can't run around as much as he used to, and same with Ronaldo. And I don't think we have the ability to carry players. So no, none of them. If Williams comes in on that wage, I think it could cause problems within the squad and others thinking they've been loyal and not asked for that kind of money. But there's a lot of hypotheticals there, Glenn. So how do you know what anybody else has asked for? Off the top of my head, mate, honestly. And the next thing that I'm probably going to get from people is the club will look at Salah's situation, Virgil's situation and Trent's situation and be worried that if they give Nico Williams the 300 grand a week he wants, that those players are going to ask for the sun, moon and stars with their transfer or with their contract extensions. Well, that's tough shit. That's tough shit for us because we shit the bed and we let them get to this point. So where was the cleverness there? How do you let Trent go off to the Euros without a new deal? How do you let him now be inside the last 12 months of his contract in the prime of his career? That's not clever. It isn't. Whatever way you want to dress it up, that's the height of stupidity. If Liverpool were to sell Salah in the summer, who would you sign to replace him? Or would you roll with the attackers we already have? I'd sign Nico Williams. Straightforward. And then if we sold Diaz, I'd look to sign Gordon. And that's us done for the future. Right now, for me, Cody Gakpo deserves the nod on the left side of our attack based off what I'm seeing from at the Euros. I'm sure you probably agree. Lucho's having a good competition as well with Colombia. But for me, I think Gakpo is the one to go with on the left. On the right, if Salah stays, he starts the season on the right-hand side. If he doesn't stay, then I'd like Nico Williams brought in. I know Williams operates on the left side for Bilbao, but again, we don't have to have inverted wingers. We can move people around. Kvaratskhelia is another one that wants out of Napoli. Higher transfer fee, but probably less wages. Is there any chance of getting Tchouaméni? I remember hearing rumours about the last year. Liverpool wanted Aurélien Tchouaméni, and they tried to sign him when he was at Monaco. He made it clear very early in those negotiations that Real Madrid was the club he wanted, and Real Madrid made the play and signed him. So no, I doubt it at this point. It's unfortunate because he's a great player and he would have been a great signing, but no, unfortunately, mate, I think that ship has sailed. Nico Williams all day long. What a wonderful player, said Alex Macklin. Dem Blocks, thank you, mate. Appreciate your kind words. Look, Nico Williams should be a no-brainer. It's between us and Barca. Barca don't have the money. We could get this wrapped up quickly if we wanted to. I know he's away at the Euros, but we trigger the release clause, or at least our indication of triggering the release clause to Bilbao, and then you know roughly what type of wages the kid's asking for. It is a slippery slope, but we have to compete. And let's look at what happened with Saka. Similar age profile. Again, you could argue about how far Saka had gone in the game at that point. Certainly shown himself to be a tremendous talent. And Arsenal paid what it took. Arsenal paid the money to get Saka to sign a new deal and stay at Arsenal. And that new deal is about what Nico Williams is asking for. So unfortunately, sometimes you just have to fucking pay it. And this is one of them situations where I think the transfer fee negates some of the wages. So we should pay it. Do you notice that every time we have these discussions and we talk about the wage structure, or we're always looking at it as if spending money's a dirty word, and that everything that FSG say is gospel, and that everything that they think of doing is absolutely the right way of doing it, and there's no room for other conversation or other debates. They're cheap. Football's moving on. If you're willing to give Thiago £200,000 a week, why can we not give a talented 21-year-old with the world at his feet a nice wage? And you're secure then for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. The kid is only 21 and he's already in the semi-finals of the Euros, doing really well. Pay him. Pay him and bring him in. Any news about Rodrigo? Really freaky ass that, mate. I was only thinking last night that it had gone very, very quiet around the whole Rodrigo situation, not just with Liverpool, but just his future in general. I don't know, is the honest answer, my friend. I don't know. We need to bring in Theo Hernandez, as Robbo isn't getting any younger. He's not good enough. I'll die on this hill about him. He's not good enough. He's too inconsistent. The left back that we're looking at is probably the most sensible one in Ryan Aït-Nouri. That's a very sensible piece of business. Still loads of room for progression. We're very friendly with his agent, George Mendes, and that Guest a Few agency. Premier League tested. Only downside to Aït-Nouri is he would have to go away for the AFCON, but, you know, it is what it is. I hear you, Craig, but we cannot give a kid £350,000 a week when our main stars get near £250. Mohamed Salah gets £350. And if you said to me right now, what's the more sensible use of money for the next 2 years? Mohamed Salah getting another 2 years at £350,000 a week, or a youngster who could become one of the greatest things in the modern game at £300,000 a week, I'm paying it to the youngster who has a future. So, look, I get it, but sometimes players just deserve more money, whether it's because of the release clause in his contract or whatever. And we can't look at it from his wages. We have to look at it from the club's perspective, which is the cost to the club each year. Players will always want the most they can get. Anyone going in to renegotiate the contract's always going to reach for the stars. That's their job. But Liverpool need to look at it from an accounting perspective, and over the course of his 6 years or 5 years at the club, if he signs, Williams is going to cost us about, what did I say earlier on? About 24 million a season. Mohamed Salah now cost us, I don't know, well, I'd say the amortisation of his transfer fee is out the window. So what's his wages? 350, 17 and a half, 18 million quid a season on his base wage. And look, you can be clever about the Nico Williams thing. You can give him an incentivised contract. You can make them very achievable add-ons, but the headline figure is less, if that makes other people in the dressing room feel comfortable enough. Craig, I'm sick of Liverpool and transfer talk, said Whitehammer. It's going to be a long summer then, bro. It's going to be a long summer. I'm sick of Liverpool and no action, Whitehammer. It would be where I'd go with that, mate. Sean, how are you, my friend? Thank you for your super chat. Really appreciate it. Sell Diaz and Tsimikas and bring in Nico and Aït-Nouri. Add Gay and Ederson and I'm happy. Thoughts? I love everything on that list. You know, I've no want to sell Luis Diaz. But if he wants to move and Barca can free up the money, then I think you have to have the conversation. If it's good for everybody, okay. And maybe you can bring in Anthony Gordon with that money. But right now, I think we need to look to the future on the right-hand side. And as you've said there, Tsimikas, I agree as well. Move him on. Not because of anything against Tsimikas. I just don't think he's going to ever be the starting left-back. And he's getting very limited minutes, so I'm sure he'll want to play. Aït-Nouri coming in will really challenge Andy Robertson and hopefully bring the best out of Robbo and they can fight it out between them for that left-back spot. In midfield, Ederson is my one. And Gay, look, I'm hearing some nice whispers around the Gay situation, but it is just that. And it's very difficult to expect anything to happen when he's already at the Euros with England. So I fully would expect that that would be a situation that will get resolved after the Euros. We just need to hope that other clubs have got their centre-backs tied up at that, and maybe we get a free run at them. Because remember, Arsenal looking for a centre-back, they look like they're about to sign Ricardo Calafiori. Manchester United looking for a centre-back, looks like they're about to bring in Matthias de Ligt. So that could leave Liverpool with very little competition for going out there to bring in Mark Gay. Except I'm sure Chelsea will somehow find a way to try and sign him, because Todd Bowley is addicted to spending by the looks of it. And yet again, they've signed another two players. A left-back, I think a centre-back, from River Plate or something, and another player. I don't know how they're getting away with it. I'm, for the life of me, confused. But we're still sitting around with nothing. No sniff. Not even a fucking renewal. Nothing. Like, what are they doing? If you really want to renew Mohamed Salah, then what are we at? He didn't have an international tournament. He's already back training. Get the finger out. Or stop trying to kid everybody that you're actually trying to give him an extension. And stop playing games. You don't have to be best friends with everybody. We can admit that it's okay to sell Salah. We can play hardball with him and Rami Abbas. Because if we don't play hardball, he's going to just sail off into the sunset and get a nice big signing on bonus. And we'll have to listen to how we haven't got a pot to piss in again next summer. It's weird. I don't get how people can't make these connections and figure out that FSG are absolute spoofers when it comes to transfers. How have Chelsea signed 5 players already? Said Bogrel. Chelsea have signed players already. Manchester United are getting deals sorted out. Arsenal are getting deals sorted out. Manchester City are getting deals sorted out and have already brought in a player, Savinho. Villa have got signings made. Spurs have brought in a couple of players and we're just sitting around again. Just what? Being opportunistic? That's not filling me full of confidence. I think that's the worst possible word that Richard Hughes could have used, is that we're going to be opportunistic in the window. That doesn't fill any of us full of confidence that we have this cast iron plan that we've put in place that we're going to execute. That sounds like, and again, I don't know what way he meant it, but it sounds like if something cheap comes up, we'll jump on it. If it doesn't, well then Arne Slot's going to be coaching the younger players to improvement. And there's nothing wrong with wanting Slot to do well. I love the idea of Arne Slot. I'm looking forward to seeing him. But I don't want him to be a sacrificial lamb. Remember my big fear. My big fear, for those of you who've watched this channel for the 6 years we've been in existence, was, and I've said this every single season, I don't want to look back at Jurgen Klopp's time at Liverpool and feel like we left trophies on the table. And we did. We absolutely left them on the table. Nobody will convince me that adding in a centre-back or another midfielder wouldn't have maybe got us one of those European Cups, or a bit of a longer title chase against Manchester City where maybe we pipped them. This season we fell away because we had injuries. And when the senior pros came back into the team, the wheels came off. But we're supposed to go back into this next season trusting the likes of Mo and other players who fell apart at the end of this campaign. It doesn't make sense. It's not rational. Mo isn't going to get less injury prone, less tired and less old. It isn't going to happen. Virgil needs real competition. Trent needs to be tied down to a new deal. All of this is going to be the club making these out to be huge deals with restrictions on us in the transfer market because they've had to commit money to a new deal for Virgil or Trent. They're going to twist it like they always do. People are going to fall for it like they always do. And we'll go into the new campaign full of hope and ambition and we'll do quite well. Ultimately, we'll get into the sticky period where we pick up injuries and we look to the bench and go, oh, if only. Because it happens every year. I asked you if you think there's a chance of not getting anyone in this transfer market and you answered no. Has it changed now? No. Why would it have changed? I fully believe we'll make a signing. But the earlier we can get these things done, the better it is for the manager. The better it is for everybody. You know, we don't want to have this happening late in August. Players settling in then. Players coming back late from international tournaments. Only getting up to speed with the manager. Like, we were kind of lucky with the fixtures. We've got the easiest opening 5 fixtures on paper, according to The Athletic, with their rankings, of any team. So we can't fuck away that opportunity to establish ourselves at the top of the league. We need to make sure we win those early games and put some points on the board. And to do that, everybody needs to be firing on the opening day of the season. And some things are out of our control. We can't control how deep the players go in the Euros or the Copa America. That's just one of them things. But we can control our business. We can control how quickly we bring players in and assimilate them into the group. That's something we do have control over. Class new background. I'm excited Ori are incomings, said Shane. Thank you, Shane. Could you give me a rundown of the news? There's not really all that much news at the minute, Max. We're going through it bit by bit here. So, Adrian's statement. This from the club, or what the club put out around Adrian saying goodbye. Adrian departs Liverpool this summer, having made a valuable contribution to the club's successes across his 5 years at Anfield. A popular figure among teammates and staff alike, Adrian leaves the Reds with the best wishes of everybody at the club and thank you for everything. For me, I would say thank you for your time, Adrian, like everybody else. But I would say to the club, time now to go and spend his wages. And if that means throwing a load of money at Kelleher to stay at the club, then throw the fucking money at the Irishman to stay at the club. Because remember, Adrian San Miguel was on roughly 45 grand a week more than Kelleher, which is ridiculous. Craig, did you read the article that said Liverpool will try to renew Salah's contract at the end of next season? I did, Paul. And do you know what nobody tended to think about in that wonderful piece of journalism? What if he signs a pre-contract in January for somebody else? And here's the kicker, Paul. He doesn't even have to tell the club. If he signs a pre-contract in January, let's say for shits and giggles to go to Napoli or Real Madrid or Barcelona or your PSG, anyone, doesn't even need to tell the club. So the club could think, we still have a chance here to tie Mo down, and he could have signed a fucking deal to go elsewhere. Well, some of us just aren't in reality. This is the height of stupidity from the club. Sell him, sell him, sell him. Play hardball, sell him. And genuinely, it boils my blood. I think Liverpool will struggle this season and I feel sorry for Arne Slot, said Stephen. Look, I don't know what next season holds. I'm sure Arne Slot's going to do a good job, But like any new coach coming in, it'd be nice to get a statement signing or two in for the new manager and to show that the club have belief in Arne Slot and what he's been brought in for. And we as fans deserve that. You know, last year was a good summer. I'm not going to say it wasn't. I was happy with the business we did last summer. Some very good signings brought in. McAllister, absolute bargain. But we need to act now to sort out where we are and to look for the future. Because some players' best days are behind them. You know, we've already seen three depart now this summer actually. Adrian San Miguel, Thiago and Joel Matip. That's a load of money freed up that should be reinvested straight back in to a signing. But so far, all quiet in the Western Front. Does anybody else think that Alisson is becoming more injury and error prone each season? Said Jason. I wouldn't say yes on the error prone. I think, goalkeepers are going to make mistakes. And Alisson, the way we play, will make a couple, as will any keeper. Injury prone, yeah. I would say that I feel like he's certainly picked up a few more. But that's why it's important that we have that good number 2. And we have that with Creevy. And so that was my point about giving him money if we can keep him for one more year. Because then we get a good look at Alisson again. And if Alisson does have another campaign where he starts to pick up injuries, at least the club still have Kelleher at that point. Believe it or not, there were actually Brazilian fans who wanted Bento to play ahead of Alisson in the quarterfinal and in the Copa America. I don't get that. I genuinely believe that he's the best goalkeeper in the world. And we're extremely happy to have him at the club. And we shouldn't even be thinking about a new keeper. I love Alisson. I think he's brilliant. It comes with age. Sadly, Alisson's getting older. He's only, 31? 32? In goalkeeper terms, that's prime. You know, Alisson, in my opinion, is right in his prime right now as a goalkeeper. Yaros is going to be interesting. I want to see him step up. I hope the club give him a new deal because Miroslav Yaros has gone into the last year of his current Liverpool contract. I take Alisson with one leg blind drunk over Bentos. Mate, look, I love him. He's the best keeper in the world. There's no argument for me on Alisson. He's the number 1 and that's it. He's contracted till 2027. I love him. You know, I'm never going to be critical of Alisson Becker. I love the man to bits. Alisson has done a lot of mistakes in the Copa America. Good! Let him fucking get them out of his system over there with Brazil. Look, we can't control what Ali does, or any of the players do on international duty. But if they do have to make a mistake, best to be with their international team and not at home with the club. What do you mean Salah future uncertain? Okay, I'm going to explain this as best as I can. So I was reading through, as I always do, my preparation for tonight's show. And I came across a piece on the Echo. And it kind of got me thinking. So the title of the piece is, what could test Liverpool's Salah resolve this summer? So you look through the piece. I'll read a segment out to you. It said, Liverpool turned down a £150 million offer from Saudi Arabia last year for Salah, and it's unlikely that the Egyptian would not be on the radar of the Saudi Pro League again this term. If they were to bid again, it would most likely be a lesser bid than the one received last summer, because Salah's adamant and walk away in 2025, the Reds may have to do the unthinkable and accept an offer. How much would that offer have to be is unclear, but if he's serious about leaving for free, the Reds will need to cash in now. Finally, the media are starting to get some semblance of common sense. And fair play. I call people out for crap, but I'm always happy to highlight good stuff. That last paragraph tells you everything. How much would the offer need to be? That's unclear, but if he's serious about leaving for free, the Reds need to cash in. So even the Echo are saying that this idea of letting him walk for free is stupid. And it is. It's always been stupid. All this bullshit about the club just, wanting to be respectful. It's business. It's business. You need to look after what's best for the club. And if Mohamed isn't going to sign the new deal, and I don't know what the case is there because I'm not involved in any of these conversations, but if Mo and the club can't come to an agreement, it shouldn't even be a debate. It's sell, 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 sell. And I hear you, Craig, what if he doesn't want to go? Well then, you got to grow and sit in the big boy chair and say, on the bench you go, Mohamed. Best of luck now. Enjoy playing with the under-21s for the remainder of the season. And I don't care how harsh that sounds, because you can't just let him walk off into the sunset for free. You can't. And then you can't do that and then tell us at the same time that we have no money for transfers. It's ludicrous. You want praise for being financially prudent and clever, then make the sensible financial decision. And the sensible financial decision is not to throw a load of cash at somebody whose best days are behind them. It's to make sure that the club get looked after. And if a compromise needs to be reached there between Mohamed Salah and the club, sound. If Mohamed gets some of the transfer fee, sound. I'd love him to go with a big send-off, a shiny thank you from all of us, and a few quid in his pocket. Nothing wrong with that. But, you know, we're constantly being taken for idiots, telling us that what we're seeing with our own eyes isn't happening. And what we're seeing with our own eyes here is Liverpool going into the last year of 3 of their biggest players running down their contracts. One of them is wanted by Real Madrid. The other one is our captain. And the third one is our vice-captain, who's also a local boy, who's in the last year of his deal and is 25. How is that clever financially or prudent? Craig, we could get friggin' Nico Williams, and couldn't they get their medicals done in Germany? So, look, each individual national team will have different stances on what they allow their players to do during the tournaments. And I would expect, as Spain in this case get closer to the latter part of it, the semi-finals, maybe the final, they're not going to want distractions. But what we could do is we could get on the blower to Bilbao and say, look, we're willing to pay the release clause, and start the process that way. And then we see what Barcelona are really made of. Do they have the minerals? Do they have the money to come in and try and get Williams? And also, it would always be a statement as well from Liverpool that we're looking to the future. Because we should be looking to do that anyway. We should be looking to do that regardless of what's happening with Mo. Because Mo's still going to be 32 years of age. You know, he's not going to be around for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. So we need to look to the future. Salah's wanted by Madrid. No, Trent is. I trust the youth players. Sepp has been class on loan and knows the club. That's great. He won't be here though. So, with all due respect, Russell, Sepp van den Berg has already thrown his toys out of the pram and he's going to be sold this summer. He has no future at Liverpool Football Club. He made sure of that when he opened his trap and started whining about the club not caring about his future or his career. So Liverpool will cash in on him, whether he goes to Mainz, whether he goes to Bologna, or whether he goes elsewhere. PSV Eindhoven, another club who've been linked with him. That's going to be resolved. Liverpool are asking a lot of money, in my opinion, from a 20 million, but you know, he's our player, so I guess the club can ask what they want as long as they find a resolution. And you notice how last season's squad was basically built from national team captains. So what I noticed last season was that we had an obscene amount of injuries, and we've been lucky enough that 2 of those injury prone players' contracts are up and they've departed. Now look, I love Thiago and I love Matip, but they weren't very much used to us last season, particularly Thiago. Matip was of course really unlucky with the ACL. So those decisions were made for us. They're gone. Adrian has decided he's gone to Real Betis. He's gone. Now we need to put on the big boy pants and go out there and give the manager a squad to go and win the league. Not compete, not get top 4, to go above 82 points and challenge Arsenal and Manchester City to win the fucking league. That's what we need to do. Anything less than that is a cop-out from the owners. Only option is to offer Mo a new contract to cash in as much as possible. See, Owen, Mohamed Salah and Rami Abbasisa aren't silly. they're going to get the idea that if we are looking to extend them with the view to sell them, they just won't extend. I think everybody needs to be honest about the situation. The player, the club, everybody. And say, look, you can walk for free in 12 months. That's your prerogative right now. We can make these last 12 months a year wasted in your career. And you need to bluff them. You need to play that game of poker and say, we'll pay the 350 grand a week and watch Nico Williams play on the right wing while Salah's on the bench. Call his bluff. Because if we don't, it's not going to change the situation. And best case scenario, I think we get a decent year out of Mo, because would you play through the pain barrier? Would you fuck up your potential move to your next club by going into 50-50s? These are all things we have to be honest about. Matt Schaub, how are you, Matt? Said, hope you're having a great day. Just back and joined the stream. Could you please briefly go over the key news? Happy to, mate. Just give me a little while longer, bro. If that's okay, I'll do it in about 20 minutes. Right, let's end this poll. We've had 1,500 votes. Would you sign Jeremy Frimpong for €40 million? 52% of you guys have said yes. Put Trent in midfield. 20% said no, or excuse me, yes to rival Trent. So that was the result of that poll. And thank you, Matt Schaub, for your super chat as well. You know what? I agree with your point now, Craig, said Owen. Look, I know I sound really harsh on Mo. I know it. Like, I'm not an idiot. But these are the facts. This is the situation that we're in, unfortunately. And we need to resolve the situation as best as we can. And just putting our fingers in our ears and going la 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 is not going to do anything other than let time tick away and Mo leave. And remember, like, he's not on international duty. He's back at the club now. So the club could absolutely be stuck in negotiations. And I'm okay if we give him an extension. I just don't want him leaving for free. Is Gordon coming to Liverpool? Said Rehan. Again, mate, I'm not going to be the guy to say yes or no. But what I can say to you is the stories aren't going away. And this piece from Football Insider said that Manchester City are preparing to challenge Liverpool for Anthony Gordon. They've registered their interest with Newcastle, but Liverpool remain firmly in the hunt for the winger. Another piece today on Gordon said, Gordon had designs on moving to the club according to Paul Gorst. He supported Liverpool as a boy and had even begun speaking about a future with Liverpool with Trent Alexander-Arnold during their downtime away with the English national team. It feels like that interest isn't going to go away. And if the players' heads been turned, this feels to me like there's a story somewhere. Because the Echo won't let this go. And I said to you guys 3 weeks ago, before this story even broke, that the Echo had been very, very much leaning on Anthony Gordon to Liverpool for the past month. And I didn't know why. Because I didn't know that this opportunity was going to arise. But it seems like it isn't going away just because the PSR problems have been solved. So let's wait and see. But I'll ask another question. Why would we be looking at Gordon if we don't believe that Diaz or Gakpo are going to go? Can anybody answer me that one? Genuinely. If we are absolutely adamant that Salah's going nowhere, that Diaz is going nowhere, and Gakpo's going nowhere, why are we talking about a left winger so much? Why are we being linked with so many wide players so much? Much more so than any other position. You can go through Bakayoko. You can go through Gordon, Nico Williams, Elise at one point, Eze at another point. We've been linked to a lot of attacking players. Why? And that's before we get into Crescencio Somerville and many others. Rachel said the Echo's not reliable. I didn't say they were, but they were on the money with regards to the whole interest of Gordon to Liverpool. So again, I don't use anybody as an absolute source, Rachel. And the Echo are up and down like everybody else. But I'm trying to paint a picture of what this window looks like. So again, why would we be looking and linked to so many wide players if we've no intention of moving any on? It doesn't really add up, does it? To me, anyway, it doesn't add up. Brian, Thank you so much, mate. Wow. A $200 super chat. You are an absolute star. Congrats on the new background. Also, you are 100% correct on Mo. It would be criminal to lose him on a free, especially the way we do business regarding our funds. And that's the point, Brian. If we're being told that we have X amount of money in the pot, plus whatever we can raise from player sales, and that the club has to be self-sustaining and self-sufficient, then we need to leave no stone unturned uncovering the money and finding ways to reinvest in the squad. And here's a big £100 million elephant in the room that some people are just sticking their fingers in their ears and going la 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 la. That £100 million could sign you Nico Williams and Ederson tomorrow, or Nico Williams and a centre back tomorrow. It's madness to me, mate. I don't get it. I'm going to go in on the media again for a minute. I'm sick as a Liverpool fan of being told stuff that I know is not true. I'm sick of journalists just repeating the club's narrative and not challenging the club's narrative. It isn't their job to be best mates with the club. It's their job to report the situation and uncover the truth. And unfortunately, in the modern day, it feels like if you speak out or speak up or have a dissenting voice, you're blacklisted and you're put in the corner and you're ignored. So in order to be in the cool gang, you've got to be a brown noser. You've got to do the club's bidding. You've got to parrot and repeat the shite that they come out with that we all know deep down is untrue on certain situations. And there's very few people who are speaking out. And I know why. It's out of fear. But for us, thankfully, we've always told you we're going to keep doing it. Because I want what's best for the football club. Not what's best with John W. Henry. Not what's best for Tom Werner. Not what's best for Mohamed Salah. For the football club. For the ability to win trophies. To dream. To have these European adventures. To see Liverpool lift old big ears. And the club will look after its own interests. The owners will look after their own interests. They will try to control every narrative. But don't be stupid. Question, challenge everything in life. Don't believe what you're being told. Because you're being told a version of events that they want portrayed into the world. It doesn't mean it's right. We should challenge. Grow a pair. Speak up. Trent, 66, how are you? Said, sell Salah now, bring in Chiesa. Also, did you hear Thiago retired? And I hope Darwin brings his form back to Liverpool. So, Chiesa, look, at £20 million or €25 million, somebody is getting a bargain there. I'd love it to be Liverpool. Thiago retiring, yeah, we touched on it at the start of the stream. Just an incredible footballer. And Darwin, yes, I also hope Darwin brings his form back. Well, not the header that he missed last night against Brazil, but also it was a lovely moment, and I'm sure you've seen it. I think Redmen posted it, actually. The little moment between Darwin and Alisson after the penalty shootout. It was a nice moment, and it was nice to see Darwin go over and console Alisson. Yeah, it was difficult last night watching because we knew one of our boys weren't going to be going home happy. So, Connor, can we get the last poll of the night up? Who would you sign? Nico Williams or Anthony Gordon? Can we get that poll up? I'd love to see what the audience think would be the best signing in that position. Didn't they say in the presser that it's looking like August for an influx of signings? I'm sure Slot will sort it after he's assessed the squad. Yes and no, Chris. What Richard Hughes said was something like, with July, a lot of clubs are going to be busy, players in international duty, stuff like that. And again, I think he said something like, I'm expecting the transfer market to reach a crescendo in August. I don't know if he was necessarily speaking about our window or just transfer business across the board. Because either way, it makes sense. You know, either way, whether it's August for us or for the transfer market, yeah, I believe a lot of business is going to get done in August. But We also kick off in mid-August, so we can't forget that as well. The season starts in mid-August, and you can't get back them games and that points after they kick off, so the earlier we can get it done, the better. Liverpool Echo has 28,000 followers on YouTube. You got 262,000. Yeah, Jens. And yet one of us gets access to everything and the other one doesn't even get responded to by email. Funny that, isn't it? It's almost like we're being blacklisted because we dare speak out. Whoops. It is what it is. Look, we tried to reach out to the club. We read you out the email. We sent it twice. They've blanked us twice. They've made their position clear. That's okay. That's no problem. It's their club. They can ignore us, do what they want. But what they can't ignore is the numbers. We're the most watched fan channel, Liverpool fan channel in the world. People are coming in and we're growing season after season. Our numbers are increasing because we're one of the few people who are willing to say it as we see it. I'm not saying everything I say is right. Not at all. But I am saying that everything that I say is honest, sincere and from the heart. And if that includes challenging and speaking out against the thing I love, I'll do that as well. My duty is to you. You made this channel, not me. You guys with your love, support and kindness made this channel. And it's my job to make sure that we keep trying to deliver as best we can. Which is, again, new studio. Looking very good. We're ready for the new season. We've got loads of new tech in the background as well that we'll be able to bring you guys during the season. And we're going to be kicking off the season with those two massive shows in Cardiff and Liverpool. And we hope you guys can come along to them. You can get your tickets with the link in the chat. Right, I'm going to do a recap of the news in a moment. But before I do, again, thank you to our sponsors, Manscaped. Don't forget you can get yourselves 20% off and free shipping store-wide at manscaped.com using our discount code Anfield20. Whether it's the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra featuring the Lawnmower 5.0 with that skin-safe technology, the brightest ever LED spotlight, and a battery that lasts long enough to shave throughout an entire game of football. So if you'd like to treat yourself or a loved one in your life, anything from manscaped.com, use our discount code Anfield20 for 20% off and free shipping. Right, love the new setup and love your channel as well, the Mighty Reds. Thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate you. Do I watch WWE? Not these days. I did growing up. Actually, do you know, I watched it until probably my early 30s. And then life got in the way, you know. But yeah, I loved it growing up. Craig Houlden wants us. Surely a player that supports the club and wants to move much more can't be overlooked. Look, there's something to it, Harry. I agree with you, mate. A player liking the club and wanting to come to us definitely holds a lot of water in my book as well, because you know he's going to give everything for the cause. What's this one Connor's asking me about? Did I miss that one? Let me go back up and see. Connor thinks I may have missed the super chat. One sec. Where is it? Did I read out Harry's super chat? Prediction? No, I didn't read this one out. Prediction for Copa Euro semi and Southgate treatment on Trent. Feels like 5 minutes of play time. Then make him take the last penalty. So Harry, firstly, mate, thank you for your super chat. Sorry I missed it earlier. Prediction for the Copa semis. Argentina, unfortunately, to beat Canada. Sorry, Canada. And Uruguay to beat Colombia. And then Uruguay to win it all. The Euro semis. Do you know what? I really think England and Holland are very closely matched. I think that'll be a really close game. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see another penalty shootout. I think the Dutch will get through. I don't know why. I just have a feeling. And on the other side, I think Spain are too good. I know Pedri's out as well, but I think Spain are too good. So I think Spain win it all. And was there another part of that? And Southgate on Trent. To be honest, I don't care if Southgate was trying to set Trent up to fail or whatnot. What I care about is Trent showing he has the mettle and the bottle and the professionalism to step up, take that fifth penalty and bury it. And I think Trent has carried himself very well in this Euros for how badly he's been treated. It's shocking. How do you go into that game and not put Trent in wing back and put Trippier on, who looks exhausted? Baffling to me. Palmer's treatment has also been ridiculous. Ivan Toney seems like he was only brought over to take penalties. But, in fairness, our boy stepped up, delivered the winning penalty. I thought it was a lovely moment for young Saka as well. When he scored, you could see the relief, the smile on his face, what it meant to him after missing the penalty, of course, previously. But I'm extremely proud of Trent. And I do think he's been done dirty from the whole start of this tournament. Craig, I don't think we need Nico Williams now that Gakpo seems like our main winger. Who's going to play on the right hand side, Sam? We need a winger, mate. And I know Nico Williams operates more on the left, but it doesn't mean he has to play on the left. I'll give you the example of Mane, who was a right winger until Salah came and then became a left winger. So I think we do need him, because we need to look past Salah's time at the club, whether that's in 1 year's time that he departs or this summer. We need to look to the future. Gakpo's been great, I agree. I think Gakpo's had a brilliant competition. And I love seeing Cody full of such confidence on the left side. What are the new things going to be added to your new videos that you were talking about? So we're going to have the ability to move formations and players around. As you can see, we have the ability to bring up chats on screen. We're going to have the ability to... I don't want to give you all the information, because I don't want to give anybody a chance to catch up with us either. So just bear with me, and as we start to do pre-season friendlies and stuff like that, you'll see the extra little bits and bobs, because we've built our own back-end system that nobody else has access to, with thanks to our friends over at Lineup Builder. So yeah, look, just watch this space is what I'd say, mate. Roger said, Craig, you don't speak out against the club. You speak out about the people that own, run and brown nose to the club. Absolutely, Roger. I love the football club dearly, and I've no intention of ever saying anything or doing anything that ruins the history or reputation of the football club. I love it. But I don't give two shits about FSG or John W. Henry. You know, they are custodians of a football club. So I don't care, really, if I have to speak out against them. So what you're saying is true. And I only want the best for the club and for the fans and for my fellow Liverpool fans. But you'll never walk alone applies, apparently, as long as you're willing to brown nose and agree with everything. The second you start to challenge stuff, you're put in a corner and blacklisted. It is what it is. All we can do is just keep delivering, keep doing our job, and keep showing up every week, and keep asking for the best for the football club, for the fans that pay their money to watch it, travel over to it. You know, I'm here to call out anything that I see as not good enough, like the Super League. Not good enough, bullshit against everything we stood for. Didn't care, were willing to sell us down the river. And now I'm supposed to look at him as a saviour? Fuck him. Not a chance. Liverpool Football Club deserve to win. And John W. Henry either has the stomach to win or he doesn't. But you don't get away with doing it once with the greatest manager of a generation and then sitting on your hands. Not going to happen. He needs to be called out. And I don't think we're petulant or greedy or arrogant as fans for asking for the best. TAA66 said, I adore Trent, but maybe him not playing is a blessing in disguise, so we won't get injured. And tired for the season ahead. Hope he plays midfield. Yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see what Arne does with Trent. Right now, if I had to guess, I think he keeps him at right back and inverts him like Klopp did. But I'm really looking forward to finding out. Craig, did you hear that they have postponed the ticket sales for the pre-season match at Anfield? I didn't. No, sorry, mate, I didn't. You know, I hope anyone who is looking to go to the game gets tickets and gets a chance to get in. It's really difficult to watch the Reds, you know, and sometimes these pre-season games or an Auto Cup scheme might be the only chance a lot of fans get to go. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me though. I'm sure there's a reason. Do you know what gets me, though, about the ticketing system at Liverpool? It doesn't matter what they do. Every year it shits the bed. Every year it's like, oh, we didn't expect that many people in. Shock. Surely you know the numbers every year. Surely you know how many people are going to be coming in to try and get tickets. Here's a clue. Look at how many fucking members you have. Maybe that might give you an indication of what to prepare for. How many members do we have at the club? Let's plan for every single one of them showing up to try and buy tickets when we put them on sale twice a year. Am I wrong? Anybody who's tried to buy tickets, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that you haven't sat there wanting to punch the screen as half your day disappears and then you get booted out or it shits the bed. Mark my words, if we make Salah a striker, guaranteed 20 goals this season. Well, like, you're saying that like it's some genius breakthrough. I've been saying it for 18 months to put Mo through the middle. But I'm going to push back against you a little bit. We have a striker. His name is Darwin. And I'm going to say he scores 30 goals next season and shuts a few people, not you, my friend, but a few people up. So yeah, I think we're going to see Darwin have the season we know he's capable of. Getting tickets for Premier League games in general is a nightmare, said Jammy Jam Jars. For the FA Cup auto scheme, they sent me an email telling me I was successful. Next day, they sent an email saying the email was sent in error and offered me a ticket for Liverpool versus Sevilla. Do you know what I mean, Stephen? And that's you taking the time out of your day, mate, to try to get yourself into the auto cup scheme, get tickets. And I can imagine what a kick in the balls that felt like the next day to hear like, nah, you can't get tickets to the auto cup scheme, but here, have the pre-season friendly. Most of the senior players probably won't be playing in anyway, but you know, we still want your money, so. The Villa player said, my Villa tickets are almost on the way, so excited. You've got a great year to look forward to, mate. It'll be so lovely to see you guys in the Champions League again, or into the Champions League, the European Cup again. I have an awful soft spot for Villa. I love Villa as a club. Since Man United is signing De Ligt, do you think we should try to sign Branthwaite? I'd love us to. My first thought, like yourself, when I heard United weren't going to be getting Branthwaite and we're looking at De Ligt, yeah, I'd love it. I don't think it's feasible because us and Everton don't do business in that way, but I'd love him. I think he's brilliant. Who do you think will be top scorer in all comps next season in our current squad? If Mo stays, it's between him and Darwin. You know, Mo, even if he stays and doesn't have the impact that he did in recent years, he'll still be there or thereabouts. I don't really mind, to be honest, who scores the goals as long as we pick up the 3 points. But yeah, I think between Mo and Darwin, if Mo stays. Rachel, thank you, Rachel, for gifting a membership. Really kind of you indeed. So, I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to recap over the news for those of you who've come in a bit late before we finish up today. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming in, and we will see you tomorrow as well at 8:45 for another live stream. There will be a news video coming out at midday, another one at 5 o'clock tomorrow as well. But for now, we open the day with the news that Liverpool have rejected an offer from Trabzonspor for Nat Phillips. Liverpool want about €5 million or about £4.2 million for Nat Phillips. Paul Gorst said that Anthony Gordon had designs, i.e. he wanted to move to Liverpool as he supported Liverpool as a boy and had even begun speaking about a future with the Reds with Trent Alexander-Arnold during their downtime with the Three Lions, which is good. Hopefully that indicates that Trent has a future with the club as well, because I can't believe it. I'm sorry for going back over it, but I really can't believe we haven't tied him down yet. Paul Gorst also said speculation around Nico Williams is understood to be inaccurate, according to Paul Gorst. And I could understand that, especially if they've made their mind up on Gordon, but he's somebody we should be weighing up. Thiago Alcantara has decided to retire from professional football, so we spent a couple of minutes just wishing Thiago all the best and whatever life has in store for him, and thanking him for his time at the club. Same with Adrian as well. He announced tonight he's going to be departing the club, gave a lovely statement on video, and the club responded to that by saying, where's it gone? Where's that gone? Yeah, Adrian departs Liverpool this summer, having made a valuable contribution to the club's success across his 5 years. A popular figure amongst teammates and staff alike, Adrian leaves the Reds with the best wishes from everybody at the club. Thank you for everything. Then we got the news that Miroslav Jaros is going to be promoted up through the ranks of the club this summer. And by promoting him up to Adrian's position, we've also freed up another non-homegrown slot. So that's good news. Adrian departing frees up a non-homegrown spot. What else was there? Why Liverpool feel confident of bagging Gordon was another piece that said the prospect of City challenging the club for a player would normally fill Liverpool full of dread. Anthony Gordon grew up supporting Liverpool, and while he's obviously happy at St James's Park, it appears unlikely he would wish to turn down an opportunity to move back to Merseyside. City, on the other hand, while successful, would not be able to guarantee him the minutes he would crave next season, and that is another factor which could push him towards the Reds. What else was there? Yeah, that's pretty much it, actually, on my notes anyway. Aït-Nouri. So, Ryan Aït-Nouri eyed by Liverpool, according to Football Insider. Liverpool are reportedly eyeing a move for Wolves fullback Ryan Aït-Nouri to provide backup to Andy Robertson. The report goes on to say that Aït-Nouri is a client of George Mendes Gestafew agency, which also represents Darwin Núñez and Diogo Jota. So we do have a good relationship there, which is why I've always put some credence in those rumours around Aït-Nouri coming to Liverpool. Callum said, I see a bright season for Carvalho. I'm really interested, Callum, to see what does happen with Fabio Carvalho, because there's only so many spots in this squad, right, for young players, and it looks like Tyler Morton's going to move. Liverpool have put a £20 million valuation on him. There's lots of talk about a new deal for Bobby Clark from Dave O.C. Kopp last night, 7 months after he signed a pro contract or another contract extension. Jayden Danns. Who else have we got that might go out on loan? Jayden Danns should probably go out on loan. What's that youngster's name? Sorry, I'm forgetting someone's name here. Winger, youngster, was that Tranmere? What's his name? No, not Owen Beck, although we'll talk about Owen Beck in a minute. No, not Ben Doak. Not McConnell. He's gone to Wigan on loan, I think. Kumas, yes, Lewis Kumas, thank you. Kumas probably alone. What did I say? Go back to Owen Beck. So Owen Beck is attracting interest from Birmingham, who'd like to take him on loan. I think we could probably go a little bit higher there. He had a really good loan spell at Dundee. So yeah, let's see what happens with Owen Beck. Cade Gordon, I hope he can stay clear of injuries, Callum, because he's a brilliant young player. And every time he gets on the ball, I get excited because he's one of those that runs at defenders, and I do hope Cade Gordon can have an injury-free campaign. Right, my friends, I'm going to say goodnight, and I will see you all tomorrow, same time, same place. Again, thank you to our sponsors, Manscaped. You can get yourself 20% off and free shipping with our code Anfield20. And if you'd like to come see us in Cardiff or Liverpool, you can get your tickets with a link at the top of the chat. We're just 4 weeks away from our Liverpool show. The poll, we said, who would you rather sign? Nico Williams got 74% of the vote, with Anthony Gordon on 25%. Thank you guys so much for your time, as always, for all of your super chats, comments, memberships, everyone that's viewing in the background that doesn't comment as well. We really appreciate you. Drop a like on the stream for me before you head off, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Love you guys to bits. I'll chat to you tomorrow. Bye bye.